Okay. We are live now, and I am very happy to have with us today actor, producer, and poet Swastik Choudhury with us today. Uh, uh, I don't know how this episode is going to unfold, but I would like to welcome him, and I'm grateful for your presence and time.
Thank you so much, and I'm also looking forward to how this discussion is going to be. And since I know that you have watched most of the films, so I'm also more curious, like what are you going to do during the conversation?
Yeah, definitely. It was quite a journey for me to start watching your movies, and it was a different genre for me. Even though being a psychology student, we have read so many things about the mind, the way mind goes
Mhm.
and drives us. But it was in a different way, different perspective, and different vision, curiosity,
Mhm.
experimental exploration, and there are so many other words that I can say. But then, yeah, I was caught up with the movie until I was done watching. So there were so many emotions that was going through. I was going through when I was watching your first movie, Adieu Godard. I started with that, I must say, and then what I learned from that movie is like from your character, I would say it's like just do your work, just do your work. That's what I learned from your character, to
Thank you so
specify
much. I mean,
the way.
that's such a lovely way to look at, uh, because in this journey so far, Um, I mean, that is the underlying principle that has kept us going, because filmmaking probably is, if compared in the last 50, 60 years, when people used to shoot films using the celluloid cameras versus today's digital time. It has become a lot easier to make a film, perhaps, but it is a lot difficult to actually make films that you want to make, and still be able to continue, uh, because things are changing dynamically all around, right from the curiosity levels of a general audience, to the platforms that are available, to the market forces that are continuously trying to uh, uh, you know set a certain narrative or set a certain tone in which how films should be made. Even if it was celluloid 40 or 50 years back, there was a lot of experimentation that was happening in cinema across the globe, you can say, or across the different regions of our country, or across the different places in this world. And all the masters that you have been listening, or anyone would have been listening about, the names, big names, and all, for Polish cinema, Spanish cinema, French, Japanese, or some underground cinema, or the Indian um, filmmakers of those times. Compared to that, so right now things are slowly, it is being influenced in a way, getting influenced in a way, um, to be packaged in a certain way only. So that's one of the more challenging aspects of making films in today's time. I mean, if somebody is having an orientation to make a more of a standard packaged content, so that may still be okay. I mean, it will be their choice. But if you want to make something which is not aligned to that packaging, it becomes a little difficult to. But making a film perhaps is still easier, but it is becoming more and more difficult to actually make something out of after making the film, to get the film somewhere, to take the film somewhere.
Hmm.
Yeah. So when you say that word, like just keep doing what you're doing, or just keep going on, if you say, I mean, that has been the basic philosophy so far, uh, with which things have been going on, moving on, and I hope I can continue to do that.
So your voice is breaking.
Okay,
Your voice is breaking in between.
so was it not clear, or should I repeat it again?
I think the last part was not very clear. I just heard
Hmm.
you until you were saying like your approach to cinema, like just keep doing what you're doing. After that, even now, your voice is not audible. It's not audible to me.
Just give me a moment.
Sure,
Give
sure,
me a
sure, sure. Good time for me to have some tea.
It's good.
Thank you.
So, is the voice better?
Yes, I can hear you now. If there is anything that I can do from my end, that you can also let me know.
Yeah, sure. I think it should work now. Just check.
Okay, let's see.
Okay.
Yeah, I can hear you now, but let's see how it goes.
Alright. Yeah. So what I was saying is that just into briefly what I was saying, when you summarized after looking at all these films, that just keep on going and doing your work. Probably that is the whole philosophy so far, uh, with which we have been making films. Because perhaps making a film in this digital era is easier compared to what it was 10 years back. But the way the market focuses, and there are so many other things which is shaping up the filmmaking journey of everywhere around. So today, after making a film the way you want to make, and take it to places, take it to people, take it to film festivals, it is a lot more difficult, I feel, perhaps because there has been a lot of other influencing factors than it was several years ago, where a lot of experimental films, or films that had a lot of different kind of approach to filmmaking, still found platforms, still found some space to actually connect with the audience, or to reach the right pieces. Actually.
Voice Kotila, voice Kotigala, voice Kotigala. I'm sorry, but I'm not able to hear you.
Let me think what would be the reason.
Now, see, now it's okay, but in between it's fluctuating. I don't know what is it that is
Acha.
creating this. Uh, I can't hear you. Your voice is gone. Should I also exit and then again we start the process?
No, I think it's fine from your end. I don't see any issues.
Okay. Why the voice is fluctuating, I don't know, because uh, it's a very sensitive topic that we are talking about, and when the voice is breaking, then it's breaking the flow.
Let me rejoin.
Okay. Hello, everyone. How is everyone doing? So, I want to share something here. Today, I'm wearing yellow because I watched Khyanikaa. The last movie that I watched was Khyanikaa 2 days back, and it says the Khyanikaa, the lost idea, the character, which is the idea, basically, uh, is a female character, and she is wearing yellow. So I thought, let me wear yellow. Why not? So I am in yellow today. And if you are watching us, and if you have any questions for Swastik Choudhury, please, here you go.
Yeah. Is this better?
I think this is better. Did
Okay.
you did you switch places?
No, I actually switched back to my mobile
Okay, okay. Technology.
because with all this, I'm sorry, because with all this different gadgets and all, I don't know
Yeah,
what to trust. So
yeah,
best go with the mobile single thing.
yeah. I think I can hear you now better.
Okay,
And
okay, no worries.
yes, good. Yeah. Um, okay, so since the flow is uh, not in the flow now, so sorry. You know that has took a turn. So why don't we start by getting to know you, something
All
about
right,
yourself? Yeah, yes.
sure, sure. So, any specific question that you want to ask, or should I just start just like how every interview starts with an interview? Please tell us
No.
something about yourself.
Well, that is a very norm thing, you know. But I would like to know that uh, so far what I have read about you is like you are from Rourkela, right?
Yeah, yeah,
You are from Rourkela, and you are an engineer. Are you? You are.
yeah, yeah.
You are. I don't know about that. I know you more as an actor. So how about from engineer to acting, and we talk about that journey.
Engineers are all good actors, no? So basically, I don't know like how and when things started. Um, I mean, when you say that as an engineer or whatever it is, to acting, I don't know when this acting thing actually started, but thing is, I enjoy being in front of the camera, so I don't hesitate to emote in front of the camera. But I had no specific formal education, just in terms of like any film school or anything in terms of acting or performing. Even I didn't had a lot of, or you can say kind of nil background to be on the stage also. Theaters or any kind of remotely connected activities to acting or anything, that was never there. It just that while I was in a job in Chennai, at that time, my exposure to cinema was also very limited, and but I didn't realize that I was limited. Um, the
Good
frog inside the,
realization.
yeah, the frog inside the well. So far in my education career, whatever through my schooling and all this career, whatever cinemas I have been exposed to were mostly um, mostly the Bollywood films, and that too uh, the typically the massy films, the mass appeal
Mm-hmm.
wala films. So those have been the kind of cinema that I was exposed to, and I used to think that those are the only kind of cinemas. And of course, I used to hear about films that won the national award or something like that, but never took care even to watch many of those. Might have watched few, but not many of those. But it so happened is that while I was in Chennai, so a lot of my friends used to, my roommates and all, used to go to watch a film every weekend. And actually, being in this big metro city like Chennai, so to watch a film at or to catch a 12 noon show or a 1 p.m. show means you have to start the entire process from the morning 7 o'clock. You have
Wow.
to wake up, get ready, have your breakfast, reach the bus stop. It will take 2 hours. Then there will be some more time to take the auto, reach the particular film theater, and then stand in the long queue for the tickets. And after all of these things, you have say 15 minutes around to relax and then enter the hall. So I felt that I mean taking all this pain
Yeah.
is not worth it unless the film is worth it.
What?
So it should not be like for any and every film. So it started like I started being choosy about which film I will go on a particular weekend. It's not like that I want to go for every and any film that is there. And then uh, sometime with all my new friends that I was making in Chennai, I somehow started having some kind of a fascination about Tamil films,
Oh, wow.
and but again, never tried to expose even if in Tamil there were other kinds of cinema. It was all that was the massive films normally which the Telugu and Tamil cinema is known for.
Yeah.
But still, I had this feeling that maybe I'll learn Tamil and I'll see if I can try something out there in
Wow.
parallel to my job. It was a
Wow.
very far-fetched
Yeah.
idea or thought. And then while one weekend when I was I was there to watch a film, a Hindi film. Suddenly, this thought came to me that in the ticketing queue, the most of the people who were standing in the box office queue of Hindi film were generally the non-Tamilians, and
Wow.
the people who who are the native or the Tamilians, they will be generally making a queue in front of the ticket counter of Tamil films only. So they won't be mostly coming and watching Hindi films.
Oh, okay.
So then I thought, when was the last time I actually stood in a queue to watch an Odia film?
Ah,
And probably never.
wow.
And then I thought, like, why was it so? Then it's the general perception or the general reading of Odia cinema that was there during my formative years, and it has I'd watched a lot of films probably of the 60s and 70s like that, perhaps till 80s also. But later on, the general perception around my circle or the people around me was that most of the films are being copied, or they don't have the minimum quality of performances and other technicalities and all that. So this was a general feeling with which I was growing up. And I don't know why suddenly I felt that if ever I get a chance to be back in Odisha, if I ever get a chance to do something around cinema, um, I will give some attempt. I'll make some attempt to do something here. And never it was consciously I had thought like whether I will do this or that, whether it will be acting or whether it will be producing or anything of that sort. And so when I came here, uh, again as I was still working, and I'm still working also right now. I mean currently. So in my organization there, we had a film club that was started. As part of the film club, we made some films which are unwatchable. Some of them are really unwatchable films. But then that was the starting
Trying.
point of doing something, and I was at ease in front of the camera. I felt I'm at ease in front of the camera. And then when we made one decent film, we first thought that everybody has been appreciating it, so why not put it on YouTube so that a larger public can watch it?
Yeah.
And then we got this that since um, this film is part of the film club, which is part of the organization. So the film is part of the organization, and you cannot put it on public screen. So
Oh.
then, so then we thought like then especially my meeting with Amartya happened there. Amartya, who has been the director of all my films, writer, director, cinematographer, editor, of late lyricist, uh, screenplay, everything. So, I mean, that's how the indie thing starts. So then we both thought like, why not? Let's make films of our own. I mean, we didn't think that way. The word indie in that way. Let's make indie films or something. It was not that cool a word at that time. The way it is now cool or indie film. So we thought let's make film of our own in our own
Mm.
way. I mean, without any constraints.
Yeah.
So idea was clear. Take your friends, have a script, take your friends, make them act. You don't have to pay them, as such they'll be also happy to actually do something,
Teacher.
and then see how it comes out. And probably अरे लाइट यहाँ से लाना है, सेठ को ईटा आने पर अच्छी एजेंट से जुगाड़ करे अच्छी, or whatever you want to arrange, manage, that we used to do it. And the internal part, editing, cinematography, writing, and everything, direction, Amartya was there to take care of it. And then we started making few more films, short films, and those started working in certain festivals, in some
Wow.
good festivals as well. And then we had this desire to further know about the cinema. I mean, what exactly the different types of cinema, who are the people we can talk to, and thanks to some of the journalist friends we got to know, we came in touch with. They pointed out to two really wonderful gentlemen. One is late Shri Manmohan Mahapatra. Unfortunately, he passed away a few years back, and other wonderful gentleman is Mr. Sushant Mishra. And Sushant sir and Manmohan sir, I mean, they were kind of the our film school. So I still remember at Manmohan sir's place or at Sushant sir's place, we used to spend like hours talking about cinema. And from there, uh, all those wonderful things we got to know that I never realized or I never knew, that while composing a frame, I mean, there's so much of a relationship with science as well. So while composing a
Um,
frame, you have mass volume density also you have to
oh,
take care of, and then how in a frame you can uh, make the kinetic energy move, the potential energy turn into kinetic energy, stuff like that. About sounds, and he suggested, recommended few books also. An actor prepares by Stanislavski. It's a wonderful book for any actor actually. But yeah, I mean there are different schools of acting and all. I'm not trying to subscribe or suggest anything, but yeah, those are interesting aspects to actually uh, go through. And then slowly we through them we started knowing and learning and exploring a lot of world cinema,
world
European
cinema.
cinema, Japanese cinema, and to Amartya's background. So definitely he, being born and brought up from Kolkata, there is a certain way of upbringing. So they have already a lot of exposure to uh, Satyajit Ray or Ritik
Mm.
Ghatak or the theater culture, and they have some world class theater groups and all that. So and the rock music and so many more. So all of this already has some sort of uh, uh, you know the foundation is something very different. Uh, Now for me, it was a totally 180-degree shift. So the kind of cinema that I used to believe is cinema, that perspective took a real change. I mean, then I realized like, oh, wow, I didn't know that cinema can be this deep, cinema can be this meaningful, cinema can be this layered. It just doesn't have to tell you that event A happened, then event B happened, then event C happened, and then they lived happily ever after. I mean, this is not the general routine that has to be followed.
Yeah.
And cinema is just not about telling a story, because if this is again my understanding that I developed. that story. If I have to tell a story, I can tell you a story.
Mm,
Why take a larger canvas of audio and visual medium if I
mm,
can't give you as an audience something more than just the story? So a story is never the central plot or the central
mm,
part of filmmaking. That is what my understanding is. Uh, Filmmaking is much larger than that aspect. Filmmaking is about how you give a journey to the audience,
mm.
whether they are able to travel with the film, and whether they are able to transcend with the film. Before the film, they are somewhere with some thoughts, with some ideas. After the film, they are living at another perspective with another set of thoughts and ideas. So
Yes.
this journey is a very important aspect, and it should make people question a lot of things. It should make people think about a lot of things. It should kind of in a way disturb them. It should not give them a lot of luxury. So in many films, when people say that, oh, you don't have to use your brains, you just come and watch, relax, uh, I have certain reservation against this statement. Basically, we are, after all, human beings. You say that human beings are the most intelligent species
Yes,
in this earth, and then you are suddenly saying that you don't use your brain. I mean, then what is the purpose of the brain then?
that's true.
And when somebody says this, they are not respecting the audience, and the same reciprocates in the cinema hall as well. If you go and watch people who have stopped using their brains while watching a film, they are mostly doing WhatsApp or Facebook while the film is running. They're
Okay.
comfortably making a call. They are doing WhatsApps because they're
Mm,
not using any more of the brain. They are somewhere else. And whenever the time comes for a whistle or a clap, they will do it. But they're not with the film. They're not inside the film.
routine
They are not.
audience.
Yeah, they are not actually creating the film inside their mind.
Mm,
A film also has to be created along with the audience inside their mind. A film first is made probably in the script, then it is again made in front of the camera, then
yeah,
again it is made in front of the
audience.
editing table.
Editing table.
Editing table, yeah. So because there will be something in the mind which translates into a script, it becomes a little different.
Mm,
From the script to the camera, it probably undergoes a change. It
yeah.
becomes a different film. And then when it comes to editing table, it again undergoes a change. It becomes probably a little different film. So when the audience is consuming it, if the audience is not with the film, they will not be making their own versions of the film. And only
Mm,
when they make their own versions of the film, their own understanding of the film,
yeah.
then the film has reached the audience. If everybody is taking the same version, if everybody is having the same takeaway from the film, so probably the film had just only one aspect to offer. So
Yeah.
I think with the audiovisual medium, the film can offer many different aspects, many different layers.
Yes.
So that's basically from that philosophy, uh, the perspectives changed, and probably that's how, or that's why we are making the kind of films that we have been making.
Yeah, that's wonderful to know. And it was so nice to hear that you had no resistance with that 180-degree change and perspective, different perspective to cinema, and then you just followed your calling. I mean, even though there was a big change for you, oh, this can also be cinema, like,
I mean, yes, and if I recall back, so for me it was, leather jacket, bikes. These are all what was my takeaway from films
mm,
mostly. Um, so even after one very popular song of the 90s and a film of 90s of one of the biggest superstar, I used to have this perception, I should learn guitar because that will impress the girls in my college. So I didn't want to learn guitar because I love music.
mm,
So this is a very I mean, I myself say it with lot of repentance, because I actually started learning guitar not because I loved music.
oh, okay.
Okay, so um, and this is what mostly people will be taking away
Mm,
from the many different films, where they are glorifying the aspects which are not supposed to be glorified.
Mm.
So, in a very typical example I can give, uh, so there is a general caveat that has been put, right? Smoking kills and all that in
Mm.
all films made in India or to be censored in India should have that. Uh, but I don't know. I may be wrong, but I don't know how many people have actually quit smoking by reading that caveat. Smoking kills. I mean, those little disclaimers everywhere, all around, with all those ads that come out in the beginning of the film with a lot of
Visuals.
visuals that actually should turn somebody off. But I
Yeah.
don't know how many people would have been motivated to actually quit smoking because of that.
They
The
wait for the
the
interval to
basic
go and
reason,
have a fag.
the basic perspective I see here is that people who got influenced towards smoking through cinema, because here we are putting a disclaimer in cinema because we believe cinema is the larger ambassador of promoting or influencing, right? So which means cinema must have also influenced people to smoke. That
Yes.
is why today we are putting a disclaimer. Now, if you typically look a film where a very nuanced or very layered film or something, you will never find somebody in that film, whoever is smoking, will be smoking in a way that you will be impressed to
Mm.
smoke. So they will not be smoking like this and doing something like this, or they will be not flipping it in the air and then lighting up the cigar or something like that, or it will never be shown in a way where it is termed to be aristocrat or something like that. In most of these films, uh, smoking will be seen or shown as just a simple way of life. Some
Mm.
people have this habit; they're doing it.
Happen.
It's never glorified,
No.
but the influence will come from films that have actually glorified this.
Yeah.
So just putting a disclaimer is not never going to demotivate people not to or quit smoking, motivate them to quit smoking or demotivate them not to smoke.
Yeah.
But it is actually how a certain aspect of a film is or certain aspect of mannerisms are shown in a film. That is what is the larger factor. So just like what I was giving my own personal example about this learning guitar and all that, so so a lot of youth probably will not be that much inclined towards learning a sitar or something like that, because you have never seen in film that has been glorified that playing a sitar will actually win a girl's heart or something like that. The day it will happen, many boys will run around a sitar teacher to look for, can you give us sitar lessons?
That's true.
So our objectives or our orientations are actually getting a lot misplaced. It is in
Yes.
the wrong places.
Yeah. 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 So nice. Even for me, it is a episode where I'm learning about a different perspective. Yeah, of course, yes.
Correct,
And
correct.
it took me a lot of courage to sit through the movie, you know,
Yeah,
because as you rightly said that why don't we have the brain, then why not activate and open, uh, I mean, see the movie from the brain's perspective, from the intelligence perspective. So it was, I would say, like a fight with my heart to watch the movie. But then at the end of the movie, it all got aligned. You know, like we have
yeah,
everything. We have everything in us, and everything is interconnected. Sometimes the ratio proportions differ,
you're
and
right.
either it transcends or it regresses. It depends on what you are trying to choose
Yeah,
after watching the movie.
correct.
So you can, I mean, for me it was like, okay, movie is not just about the story,
Yes,
you
yes.
know, like it can be about a writer who is writing the story, and
Mm-hmm.
and how it is being carried away by the characters, you know.
Yeah.
Like after watching Khyanikaa, I would like to say
Mm-hmm.
that uh,
Mm-hmm.
Sushant Mishra, I am talking
Ah,
about him.
yes, yes.
Uh, Ascharya. The way
Yeah.
he was saying that, and the way he was, because he reads newspaper, right? His mind is
Yes.
jammed with all the news, and and it is
Yes.
so beautifully uh, manifested um, with those
The
news.
characters,
The characters, they are
characters
saying
from the newspaper.
newspapers, I mean, because his mind is all about news,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
you are what you feed your mind. So he is seeing the news everywhere he is walking, so he is not free to see the idea. Like you are interacting with your idea, right? You are
Right.
always interacting with your idea, and you are open to the idea, and you are also surrendering to your idea that I want to write something. That is not my mood. My mood is something different.
Right, right.
So I want to write something, but this is the mood, so I need something for this mood. So it's so natural, like there is creativity, but there's also
Mhm.
this guidance, uh, or inspiration, or your natural way of being, which is which is related to your creativity. I want to write, but this is my feelings at this point of time, so I want to write based on what I'm feeling
Yeah.
right now. So
Mostly, I mean, this is again something that I learned from Amartya as well. That the when you are writing something, especially, so if you delay that process of writing, if you say that, okay, this is the thought, I will write it tomorrow. So what happens is that the train of thoughts, I mean, our mind doesn't work in a very I mean, it doesn't work the way we want to. It works, it will have its own mechanism, right? So there will always be a train of thoughts that actually comes at that particular moment. So if you're not writing it at that particular point of time, and if you're writing it after a day, he says that it is not the same thought, because after a day you have changed. After a
mm,
day, your inputs that you have been taking from various sources, that has changed. So you are a different person from today to tomorrow.
yes.
So the thought that you had today, you may still be writing about the same topic, the topic may be same, but the thought has changed. So whatever is there in your mind the moment you write, I mean, that is the reason, all the scripts that he has written, it is all mostly those are all one night scripts. He sits, he writes as long as he can. He writes, and then wherever he stops, that's the
End of.
thing. Yeah. So most of the larger structure or larger portions of whatever scripts that we have had in the films are written probably in a span of few hours. With all that he has to say, he takes it out, and that forms the script.
Yeah, another observation, what I was uh, just thinking about when I was watching your movies is like it is more in the now and present, whatever is happening.
Yeah.
Most of the movies are like progressive, but there's also this movement of presence, and I don't think there's any shame or guilt in the movie. It's just the present and now and moving on and fresh ideas, possibilities. uh, that is
Right,
what
right, right.
that is what I love the most, because sometimes when you watch some movies, uh,
Mm-hmm.
if it is resonating with you in some ways, you feel guilty, you are stuck, you feel ashamed, or that kind of thing. But after watching these movies, I never felt like shame as a uh, that is shame as a thing from which we cannot step out. That's a part of life. That's your life experience. That's what you have experienced. That doesn't necessarily mean that you are going to take that on with in your journey. You can just
Right,
step
right.
out from that experience. You are open to different possibilities. That is what
Right,
happened, but
right.
now I have different possibilities. So it is a human experience. It is a human
Correct, correct.
experience, and I would say it is less emotional, more intelligence, because you need that courage to step out from that uh, feeling stuck, to step out from that and explore yourself in so many different ways.
Yeah, I'll say that it's actually not that difficult to actually watch or absorb these kind of films. It's just that it demands you to be with the film. Just listen to every spoken word. Just listen, even the non-spoken words, the silence. Listen to the silence. Listen to the music. Listen to the background. And that's it. I mean, one beautiful example that, again, I've spent so much time with Amartya, so a lot of things has been passed on to me, knowingly or unknowingly, with all those conversations that keep having with him. So one beautiful example is this one: a sunset. Okay, so uh, if you watch a sunset when you are very upset about having lost something, um, and you watch a sunset, it gives you a different feeling. A few days after, if you watch that same sunset, probably when somebody has found a new love, or has entered into a new relationship and he's very happy, versus watch the same sunset at the same point after several days, weeks, or months, perhaps when uh, somebody has got uh, probably a pay rise or a promotion, stuff like that. A day when probably you have been struggling a lot for many years for something and you have achieved it. That day when you go and watch the sunset from the same place, same point, the sun remains the same, the place remains the same, right? But the perspective or the emotions or the feelings keeps changing, and it is all about what you are carrying with you. That lens, with that lens, you are watching that sunset, and that
Yeah.
lens is changing. So same way with films. If you just have to be with the film, take it how it is coming in, and then use your own lens, how you are perceiving it. Most of the time, what happens is that, right from many art forms, painting. So again, the colors, the or the lack of colors, or certain shapes. I mean, it doesn't have to be always a sky, a mountain, a tree, a coconut tree, and then some lake around and all that. It doesn't. That's not always painting, right?
That's
I,
true.
I think I see a beautiful painting behind you as well. Anyway, so, so a painting, if you look at the world of painting and painters, there are several painters that actually communicated so many things through different layers.
Hmm.
There's no one meaning or one aspect or perspective that you can draw from a single painting on a canvas. There can be so many enormous possibilities out of those paintings. But there will be people who will, after watching it, they will critic, or probably they will make fun of painters. Um, Again, this is in most of our popular cinema also, they have been made
Yeah.
fun of. But and then this is the very common thing that they will ask is, what is the painter trying to say? The point is, if the painter wants to say something, he can just ask you, stand in front of you and say it. The painter wants you to feel it. The painter wants you to absorb it, and it cannot happen in any of the direct means.
Hmm.
The person is trying to make you feel or experience something through the world of colors.
Yeah.
So if you so the same happens with films as well. If we all try to want a single answer, what is the director trying to say, which
Yeah.
is which is one of the crux of the opening sequence in Adieu Godard.
Yeah.
When they watch the Godard film, and these people, other friends of Anand, they are saying, "Arey director ta kaun koi like
On.
jao." So
That's true.
that is their angst. They're not able to get it. What they're trying to say. So this is the same thing that has been again reflected in this film, the same aspect of the society, where we always want one single answer, a straightforward answer, where we don't want to form our own opinion.
Yeah.
We can have an opinion about a lot of things. This dish is not good, that particular uh, dress color is not going good, or this gadget is good, that gadget is not good, or
Yeah.
this car is better, that car is not better.
Yeah.
So we can have opinion about all sorts of materialistic thing that we are
Yeah.
consuming. But when it is coming to what we are consuming for the mind and the soul, so there we don't want to make any opinions. We just want to go with the flow,
Yeah.
right? So it's this particular aspect where, be it a painter, be it a poet, if there is a layered poetry, there will not be many takers in today's time.
Hmm.
They will all say that, okay, what he wants to, or he or she wants to say, we don't know.
That's
So
true.
yeah, so that's the problem sometimes is there. So as I said, watching a a different kind of a film. Film can be bad film. That's a different thing altogether. You may not at all enjoy
Oh,
watching it.
no, also I would like to say bad in what sense? Is the story? Is it your expectation? It's the director? It's the character?
When
Bad has so many different definitions, like,
correct, correct.
yeah, so,
No, when you are a more informed viewer, when you are a
yeah.
more aware viewer, you will know what is bad, what is not bad. It's not that difficult to judge or
Yeah.
identify. But what I'm saying is that even it may so happen that you may not connect with a film or you may not like a certain kind of a film. That's also okay. But saying that I couldn't understand a film,
Yeah.
yeah, there can be two things. The filmmaker has probably tried to uh, put in certain elements for which one needs to have certain kind of education. This happens with a lot of Godard films. If one is not really well versed with history, there will be so many references to history and all that, and it will not be direct references. There will be a certain dialogue with which it will be about a conflict that happened in 1920s in some corner of the world.
Hmm.
Okay, so I give you an example. There's a lovely film by Wes Anderson, and the name is interesting. A pigeon sat over a branch and thought about existence.
A pigeon.
Yeah, that's the name of the film.
Wow.
A pigeon sat over a branch and thought about existence. It's a
I should-
Swedish film.
It's a
It's
Swedish
a
film.
wonderful, yeah, it's a
Okay.
wonderful film. And while I was watching it, very interestingly, there was a restaurant, a cafe. A lot
Uh-huh.
of young people are there, having coffee and everything. And all of a sudden, there is an army dressed in a medieval period attire, like it is of some 18th century or 17th century or much before that, and they are walking by the road. I mean, the setting is of today's time. Okay, the restaurant, the cafe, everything is of today's time. People are hanging out, having coffee, and all that. And the camera is positioned in a way where the street is visible outside the cafe, and from that cafe, it looks like a 15th century or 16th century army dressed in that attire of that time,
Wow.
in horsebacks, and all. They're going, and they're all watching it. And suddenly, somebody sings a song whose again interpretation or the translation, if one, I did actually Google, it was actually having a reference to the longest war that Sweden had with Russia at the time, the czars and all of around 15th or 14th century, when, and it was one of the longest war that Sweden fought. Of it
Wow.
lasted around 6 months or 8 months, something like that. So they are making a reference to that war.
Oh, okay.
So, so it's a modern day cafe where people are talking, sitting, hanging out, and suddenly 14th century, 15th century army passes in horsebacks and all.
So that means his
And
memory he's revisiting.
it's not about exactly about a person who is seeing it. It's just that a setup. I mean, it's the
Setup,
audience who
yeah.
is looking at it. It's the audience who is looking at it. So that I can say that, hey, I didn't get it. Why it was like that? It was such a dumb film. I can say that.
Yeah.
Nobody, I mean, but in return, actually I am the person who didn't make an effort to understand what it is. Had I made an just like how I googled out a little bit, I paused the film
Hmm.
and I googled out a bit, or I made note, sometime I watch google it out later on. But in doing so, I got to know something more that I didn't know before.
Yeah.
And that is the always an objective of an art, that it will actually take you a little ahead of where
Hmm.
you were before consuming that art.
Curiosity.
Yes, yes. So sometimes, so watching these kind of films are not actually that difficult. It's just that one needs to be little more submissive, be
Yeah.
with the film, listen to everything that is said, everything that has not been said, the music and the flow. Yeah, that's it.
Also, I want to mention that all of your films are like very realistic, in in a very normal middle class family setup, and not very loud with their makeup and
There's no makeup
costumes.
actually.
Yeah, I was so amazed to see that, and it felt so good to see the natural beauty. Um, while you see so many other movies nowadays, uh, loaded with makeup, trying to be perfect, look so beautiful, like those kind of things. But then,
Even when it is shown that they are waking up after 8 hours of sleep, they will be all in full makeup and full jewelry.
yeah, that's right, that's right. So it's not, it's like, sometimes I feel like, is it really, they are looking like this all the time? How is it possible? But when I watched all of the movies, I felt so nice that, they are in their own skin, like it's not like they are masked up to some
So
expectations and some audience's expectations or something like that. That was
right,
so nice for me.
yeah, it should not, unless it is a requirement.
Yeah.
Um, I don't think it should anything should look like more staged. It should not look like more fake, right? Uh, if mm, most of our films, the main characters or the primary characters, whoever are there. So apart from from them, if milieu, if you look at any scene that has been shot, showing the milieu, and if there are certain elements, certain people who are interacting, maybe a fraction of a second they come and then they go, or there can be just a person with just one dialogue in the entire film who comes, has some interaction with the main character, the primary character, and goes. So wherever we are showing the surrounding, the milieu in any of the films, so we generally take it from the place where we are shooting, the
Hmm.
local people from. So we spent a little bit of time with them just to tell them, make them at ease with the camera, because that makes the interaction uh, or the flow of the film a very rooted to that particular place.
Yeah.
So if everything, there are certain reasons, of course we can't replace the primary characters who are needed to do a certain kind of a performance as per the script. But when it comes to the day-to-day interaction, wherever we have been showing in any of the films and all, so supposing a character has to go to a shop and has to buy something. So we will not try to fit in a actor in the
Hmm.
shopkeeper as a shopkeeper, unless it is something that is really required.
Yeah.
We try to make that person act him as himself, because that person will be more or less very much at ease inside his own shop and with the elements that is there in the shop.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So whenever it is not required, so we try to take the people who are local to that particular place and do it. So that actually uh, makes it more fun, makes it more interesting.
Yeah.
Uh, People also love it at times. I generally don't come across people who don't want to do it,
Yeah.
uh, and it is nothing but it is just to make it more natural. So
Natural.
so a lot of people are very happy or willing to be part of the whole process that we do. So this Whispers of a Storm, where we shot the film just few weeks, couple of weeks after the devastating cyclone Fani that came in 2019 May. Uh, on any given day, there were we were shooting in very remote places where even the villages didn't have water for themselves. So forget about we getting any kind of access to water or food. Uh, so our objective was on any given day, um, except from the actor, Amartya himself was handling the camera and he's the director. So apart from say the actor, there should be max to max two or three more people. So on no day we were like four or five people, more than four or five people, because uh, one is we don't want to create chaos inside the when we are going to such remote places and the people themselves are having with so much of their own trouble and all that. Second is that it will be very difficult to arrange food, water, and everything, because you'll be shooting for hours, that too in the heat of May when all the trees have been destroyed.
Wow.
So
Challenging.
so yeah, so even there, there were a lot of places where we had to have a lot of local. Had to show a lot of local people in certain aspects of the film. So we talked to the people and all. There were some people who were doing a lot of these village theaters and all that. So they were very happy to come forward and be part of the film.
Yeah.
So we did that, and it actually came out in a way where a lot of people who have watched the film, they say that okay, it looks like every actor is like the villager. I
Mm.
said it's actually the reverse. Every villager is actually the actor in the film. So, so apart from the primary four characters who were actually actors, rest all were the people from the village only in the film.
Yeah, that is what I have observed. Like, um, how do I put it? I don't know. But I have seen that glamour is not a big part of your movies, like unless it is needed. I mean, um, it is very now a confined thing for me. Like for this script, you need glamour, and you can do cinema without glamour as well, because it is not always about the glamour. It is about the character, the skin of the character, how natural it is, and it's beautiful. I mean, Runanubandha, the girl, the main character, she is. I never felt like she is the heroine or she is the main character.
That was
Uh,
that was Priyanka's debut film.
I mean,
That was her debut
she's
film.
amazing. She has just
Yeah,
she's amazing. And of course, not any of the characters are loud. You know, they are in a very natural state, like not even extra word, not even a less word. There's silence. There's so many other scenes, where you can see, like, yeah, I mean, in our normal life, we are not always talking.
exactly,
Sometimes
exactly,
there are so many non-verbal things that we are doing. We are observing, we are thinking, and yeah, I mean, it was more like a human experience, more normal human experience for me. So it was amazing. I mean, yeah, it was a journey, quite a journey for
I'm
me.
glad. I'm glad you could actually feel in that way, because that somewhere shows that the film still has viewers. But if you look at many of these Satyajit Ray films or Adur Gopal Krishnan sir's film, uh, many other Manikal, uh, even Sushant sir's film, and a lot of world cinema, French films, Spanish films. You won't find people with makeups. You won't find people with six packs. You won't find people with chiseled, V-shaped body only being part of the film unless they're required. I
Yeah,
mean, people are so natural. You watch any Italian, Spanish, Japanese, good films and all that. Uh, uh, you will find Tarkovsky Russian films and all. I remember Andrei Tarkovsky's films. So they are all just people who are just like from everyday life.
yeah.
They are not. You won't feel watching them that okay they are cut out from somewhere.
Mm,
It's just like people who are in and around your everyday life.
yeah, yeah, yeah. That was so beautiful. And if I have to ask a question, like Swastik Choudhury as actor and producer, which one is more challenging, or you have different perspective about your two uh, stands as an actor and as a producer?
Act, Swastik Chaudhary as an actor, I love it. Swastik Chaudhary as a producer, I see it as a responsibility.
Wow.
So these are the two aspects with which I look at these two roles.
Hmm.
So as an actor, yeah, I'm always hungry to be exploited. I tell all my directors. I mean, apart from Amartya, I have worked with a couple of more, a few more other directors. So wherever I get this uh, connect with those filmmakers as well, I have told them that uh, I would like to be explored. I mean, I don't have any inhibitions, hesitance, and I don't have any preconceived notions also. So I'm all fine to do whatever the director would want to. Of course, if I have agreed to the film or to the character. Um, as a producer, again, uh, acting or to perform was a choice. Becoming a producer was not something as a choice. It just so happened as in when we made our first film.
we had approached somebody who would uh, actually who would officially be the I mean, he didn't have to do anything with the film. We said that we'll make the film, but just that we don't know what has to be done after that. Will you be officially the producer later on, and just ensure that the rest of the process happens and all that? But that didn't happen actually. Towards the end, when we had made the film and all, that didn't happen. So I we didn't know what to do after making the film. So we went to the CBFC office, taking the film in a pen drive, and said that okay, heard that you guys do film certification, and film certification is required for certain film festivals in India and the national awards and all that. So please certify our film. He said that hello, who are you? I said I'm Swastik Choudhury and he's Amartya. So saying, no boss, but what is this and what do you want? I said, we want this film to certify. This is not the process. What is the banner under which
Oh,
banner this film has been registered? I said, uh, I don't know what is the banner and I don't have a banner, but where do you register? If you show me, I can register it here. I said, but this is the CPF office. You don't register films here. You have to go to the cine chamber, your local cine chamber, and then you have to register the film there under a certain banner. I said, okay. So can you tell me the address? They said the address. We went there again. And in the Cine Chamber office, we again gave that pen drive and said that, okay, this is the film we want to certify. They said that you have to register it. So where I have to sign and all that. I just felt like, okay, in a register
yeah,
somewhere,
yeah.
just have to register. Then he said, okay, what's the banner name? I said, there's no banner. Then he said, understood that this is the first timers. Sit down. And then he explained the process, and then we came out, and then we were sitting standing in the afternoon saying, boss, he's saying that there has to be some producer, he's saying there has to be some banner, there has to be a letterhead of the banner under which we have to give an application. Then I want to say, see, you have been taking care of those all those external part of the film and all that, so why don't you become the producer? I said, if there is no option, then let's do it. Then said, but what should be the banner and all? He said, you think of a name. And then a couple of discussions, and we stuck with, okay, Swastik Art House. Then he said that, okay, don't worry, there is a cyber cafe nearby. I'll help
Good.
you. So he just opened the Photoshop, designed a logo.
Mm,
We printed a letterhead from there. I wrote my application that this is the banner name, this is the film that we want to register and all. And then the journey in
wow.
2014 started of making films and all that. So I see it as a responsibility. Why I say
Mm,
it? Because um, I I always say that even to people sometimes whenever there's any kind of discussion, and I tell them that when you spend time on something, uh, you should not or you should rather put a weight on it or put a value on it. So when you spend a time consuming something very frivolous, something very superficial, so you are making yourself, very easy, or you are lowering your own
standards.
standards, you can say, or your own weightage.
Values.
So if I am going to spend 2 hours watching a film, if I am going to going somewhere for a 3 hours concert, if I'm going or going to read a book for now in the next 30 minutes, I'm going to read some book and all that. So what kind of a book? So whether it will be a very superficial kind of a novel that is giving some kind of a thrill, just a cheap thrill or something, should I go for that? Or something that will make me think a lot? If I'm going for a concert, if is it something that there will be a takeaway from me from that concert or experience? It's just
Hmm.
not about, it is about um, in exact words that you're taking of something, but it is also the experience. It's something very different, or it is just that something somebody is going to play in like a DJ song, and everybody will be dancing like a mad person and just come out.
Yeah.
So watching a film same way. So it is about adding weightage or value to yourself, your
Mm.
own persona. That if
Value
I am
addition.
spending time on this thing, it should be worth it. So same way, if I am letting my name as a producer to be associated with something, it should be really worth it. It should have that value. Now people can say the value in terms of the financial ROI, the return, the
Mm.
business part of it.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
Yes, business is important.
yes,
ROI is important,
yeah,
but there are a lot of things which is just, I mean, ROIs are always not in terms of finance. There are different kinds of ROIs. There are different returns on investments as well,
yeah,
and I can name a few of them, which is my return on investment by making these films. So that is how I actually look at it. Uh, See, in fact, it is not about trying to belittle anybody. But when we started 2014 or 2015, there were not a lot of filmmakers from here who wanted to send their film to film festivals.
no,
It will be just not a lot of filmmakers. Okay.
okay,
But come to 2023, there are a lot of films that filmmakers are making, and they
mm,
want to send it to festivals and want it to be showcased in some big places and all.
wow,
So, in return, what happens when you want to showcase your film in festivals? There is nothing like you make a festival film, and there is nothing like you make a theatrical film. It is not
mm,
something you can think and make.
yeah,
Again, then it is not cinema. You are trying to make a package. You are trying to make a product where you
for
have some
others'
end goal.
expectations,
Yeah, with some end goal inside.
yeah,
But what I'm saying is that when you try to compete in a place,
yeah,
film festivals is nothing but you're competing with films from across the world. So
yeah,
you try to be best in a lot of ways, in your technical aspects of the film, in your performance wise of the film, the music section of the film. So all those things you try to be best. You try to
yeah,
be more perfect in those. So in doing so, the overall standard of filmmaking is going up.
yeah,
So if today there are a lot of filmmakers who are making films and they want to send it to film festivals and all, that is one return on investments of making all these films and having these films showcased across the world in so many places. Like Khyanikaa was in some close to 28 international film festivals. Runanubandha has been to over 20 film festivals.
wow,
Adieu Godard was in a lot of uh, A-listed festivals as well. So it world premiered at Moscow International Film Festival.
wow,
So it is not something that I will want it. It will happen.
no,
Film festivals are not that easy. In fact, there are if there are 10 selections, then there would have been 100 rejections behind it also.
yeah,
So, but when you are trying to compete, what will happen at the end is that you try to make a film
mm,
which actually has a lot of value inside in it, right? So there are different kinds of ROIs, as I said,
yeah,
so that's why I see making a film as a producer, I take it as a lot of responsibility. I see,
mm,
or responsibility is the word that comes to me
yeah,
if I
yeah,
look at my character role as a producer and as an
producer,
actor. I mean, it is all fun because I love to perform actually.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, thank you for sharing about your being a producer and the experiences that you are going through, and how beautifully said that you are more responsible when you are a producer because uh, the values are more important. It's not more about finances is there is expectations of ROI as you said, but then values are also important. um, Filmmaking is also important, technical part is also important because you are competing in a large scale. So what
Right.
I'm thinking is like this perception or this opening of possibilities of taking your cinemas to the world at
Global
large
audience.
global audience. How competitive it is, or how what is the how do you feel about your own uh, uh, state about understanding different films? That's coming up for me.
Uh, I mean,
About,
if you want to rephrase it a bit, I didn't actually get what was the question.
yeah,
So,
so
is it like you want to know how the film festival world, I mean, the competition in the film festival world, is that something that you are asking about?
no, what is the response of uh, Indian audience or like audiences from Odisha? Like I am from Odisha, and
Yeah.
I loved watching your movies. In fact, I watched all of them. I said, yeah, before talking to him, I need to know to watch all his movies, and I had a different perspective, and I watched the movie, and I was uh, throughout. I was it was a journey for me, and my perspective about movie making is now more broad. You know,
Yeah.
it's not confined. So I am asking from that perspective, like how is it standing there? How yeah, how are
So,
the people understanding this kind of movies?
so theatrically, if you look at, so Adieu Godard has been one of the most successful of all the films, because the film actually, when it did well across festivals, when it won some significant awards, it won the best film in the Indian competition section, Kolkata International Film Festival.
Wow.
Uh, that is one of the A-listed festivals from India. There are three FIAF accredited festivals: Kolkata, Kerala, and IFI Goa. So again, from KIF, it won that award, and then there was six other awards as well from it won of a award in Bangalore as well, Bangalore Film Festival. So there was certain buzz also was there where people were probably uh, looking forward to watching the film, but it also got a shot in the arm, as you can say, with two key aspects. With uh, Anu Chaudhary being so gracious to present the film, um, and then with Platoon Distribution, all the way from Mumbai, willing to distribute the film. Now, initially, what happened is that again, this is what the people gave as a feedback. So during that time, not a lot of films were actually going for more than 3 days or 4 days. They will release on a Friday, probably in just 3 days or 4 days they will be taken off,
Oh,
because theaters were saying that there is no response, there is not a lot of buzz. Many of the
wow.
films, people used to say in that way. This I got to know when the film actually ran uh, for 4 weeks. Post that, a lot of people came during that time and told about this. So at the same point of my experience with the distributor there, I kept running around the distributors for almost close to a month or so, asking them to take a look at the film and then why not distribute it. So they used to say that, quote unquote, the word is, ଆପଣ ଟିକେ ଭଲ ଘରର ଲାଗୁଛନ୍ତି କାହିଁ ପଇସା ନଷ୍ଟ କରିବେ, ଖୋଲିକି କହିଦଉଛି, ଫିଲ୍ମ
Acha,
ରିଲିଜ କରିବେ ବୋଲି କରନ୍ତୁ, ପଇସାଟା ନଷ୍ଟ ହବ.
acha, wow.
Okay. So this was the quote unquote. So you are going to waste your money, and whatever will be the distribution cost and all that you will pay, there will be a loss around that, because there's no one there to watch Odia films.
Mhm.
So unless you have local distributors,
Yeah.
you won't be able to penetrate the single screens. So unfortunately, we wanted a film like Godard to be available for people in the single screens, because multiplexes has their other perceptions
Yeah.
for people, and also uh, comes with some additional cost factor as well, right? But we didn't have a choice, and then when we were trying to reach out distributors at other from other areas and all, Platoon Distribution came forward. So when I first spoke to Mr. Shiladitya Bora, who is heading founder of Platoon Films, so he said that, and just started saying, I wanted to talk to you about Adieu Godard, the film. When he said that you don't have to tell me about the film, we have been following the film's festival journey. So he felt the film has a lot of potential to actually uh, have releases in many places. But the fact that film distribution, film exhibition, film promotion, all of this is cost intensive. It is not
Mm.
like um, it's not like you can just do it very easily, because apart from the cost factor, ensuring that the expenditure is happening with the right kind of people.
Mm.
So if you are hiring a PR agency, and supposing the PR agency does nothing, I mean, uh, there can be a PR which can actually do a lot for a film if they are invested mentally, emotionally with the film. There can be a PR who say, that, okay, this is my fees, and they will just put up, make one press conference for you. They will probably put up a couple of hoardings. That's it. So, so at the same point, like, you knowing like where to spend the money, and also at the same point, like, you also being ready to actually be able to spend the money. So that those are like a different aspect of that happens after filmmaking, that one has to take care of. So again, we didn't get the distribution, local distribution. So Platoon was there, and thanks to Anu who came forward to present the film and ensure that the film reaches the theaters. So when it came out, there was some fantastic feedbacks, reviews that immediately started flowing in. I still remember there were people who tried to initiate Facebook call outs like, I am going, I will sponsor for you another 10 tickets, whoever wants to come connect with me, this kind of film has to be seen. There are people, and there are a lot of students from Xavier University to Kid to a lot of these people. We try to reach out to the film clubs and the different departments there, and they responded. They came and they watched. So response was fantastic. We had Bhubaneswar, Rourkela, Cuttack. We released then in Kolkata, then in Delhi, and then in Bangalore. Interestingly, in Kolkata, after 1 week, the first week, the second week, we got one more show screen, one more hall. Uh,
Wow.
so, so those were the wonderful experiences that we had, no doubt about it. And I always had felt, and I still feel, um, audience is there. Okay, it
Yes.
is just about it's just about, as we use the word cultivate. Cultivate doesn't just like we
Mm.
say no, we should cultivate good habits. It is
Yes.
also about cultivating audience. So when you
Again.
start bringing this kind of films, supposing in a year there are 10 such good films that has been appreciated across both by the film critics to the festivals, and then there are films of such quality, automatically there will be a audience that will be, because it is the same people from Odisha who are watching this Netflix, Amazon Prime, and all these OTT platforms, content from these OTT platforms. So definitely they have certain understanding, they have a certain taste. It is just that the more we make this kind of films, the more we'll be able to cultivate that kind of an audience. They will start having a trust that these kind of films are coming out of Odisha, or Odia films are something which, of course, in the last few years have changed a lot. There are a
Change.
lot of wonderful films that have been made. Uh, I'm not saying that things are not changing, but we have been late in the game. But yes, we have to do a lot more. There are a lot more filmmakers. I wish also many young filmmakers should come forward, make more films. As I said, in the digital era, there are a lot of ways.
Mm.
Yeah, ways where how you can audible now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So in this digital era, there are a lot of ways how one can make a film without actually, you know, uh, for which you don't have to uh, you know, pull in millions of rupees to make a film. So there are ways where one can make films in a very cost-effective manner as well. And if they do focus on more about the kind of cinema that has to be made and give more flavors to audience, I'm sure we will do a lot better in terms of how we are doing currently in the national and international platforms.
Wow. So good to hear that. And it is also very nice to hear that the way you put it, like we need to cultivate audiences. I mean,
Yeah,
the purpose of screening a movie in different locations is about getting an exposure or reaching out to so different varieties of versatile crowd. I mean, say like being more diverse and inclusive at the same time, competing or being uh, I mean, how do I say, being more creative, like more sticking to your own way of making cinema, like your own vision and journey, you know. There's
Hmm.
competition, but there's also your exploration as an artist, as a producer, and
Hmm.
as a production house, a writer, or whatever. Every part is so challenging. And also I have observed that uh, it is not always about spending a lot for a movie. It is a aspect, not all aspect.
Correct, correct.
So it gives courage to where a person who is thinking or who can think like, okay, money is not the constraint, I have to have a content.
So, so as a first generation filmmaker, so I don't have a any background or association with cinema before this. So, and certainly I don't come from a lineage where uh, there is a lot of enough that I can pour in. So it automatically, that's why I said initially, right, that engineers are always good actors. So so as an engineer, all those aspects of using jugaad,
Jugaad.
the ways of how you can actually uh, give certain effects, the same effect which probably um, a high end certain equipment will do, how you will replace it with something with a very low cost way also and still get the same output. So this has been all those thoughts and ideas have also gone through behind making these films. So so that's how probably this is what actually is indie. Indie is all about finding your own way of achieving certain things when you are challenged um, by a certain aspect. If it is a financial challenge, how you try to find out a different way. If it is a distribution challenge, how you try to see an alternative way of distributing a film. Um, like for many people who said, okay, you guys only make films for festivals. I said, you can't make films for festivals. You can't have that in your mind and make films for festivals. The thing is that we saw our films clicking in festivals, which means that there is an audience for this film
Mm.
who come to film festivals. So my job is to show the film to an audience.
Yeah.
So if the audience is in theaters, I can show my film in the theaters as well. I don't have any reservations. If my film's audience is in film festivals, I would like to show my film in film festivals.
Yeah.
And getting into a film festival is also not something that you think you dream of it tonight and morning you get into a festivals.
Mm.
So a film festival like Cannes gets around 18,000 submissions every
Wow.
year. Okay, and their main competition section has only 9 slots.
Oh my god.
So
Bottleneck.
it is not that you dream of it today and tomorrow your film gets selected. So
Yeah.
there are a lot of it's not humanly possible for them to also see all the films probably. I mean,
Yeah.
they might be using some methods to filter out and all that. It's
Yeah.
not that they are watching 18,000 films
Yeah.
end to end and then making a decision. It's not possible also. So all these big festivals, Berlin, Sundance, Venice, they get thousands of submissions. In fact, uh, this Indian film festivals, they get around 200, 300 submissions from India itself.
Wow.
Uh, the Kerala festivals and all that. So it's not easy to actually get selected for festivals, because festivals is also again a factor of the jury people who are there at that particular
Mm.
time. Again, pre-selection juries who will select a film for the festival. And post that you get an award or not, that will depend on the main jury who are there.
Yeah.
But the pre-selection jury again, uh, this year there will be a set of 4 or 5 people. They have a certain taste or a certain perspective of cinema, so they may or may not select your film. It
Yeah.
happens.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's what it is. So you cannot think of the end product, end goal, that okay, you are making a film for theaters, you are making a film for festivals, like that. You make a film that you want to make, and
Yeah.
then see what is the best platform for this film, and then you try to explore or exploit that platform. So indie, from this indie filmmaking, I remember you recently watched Khyanikaa, right? And then there is this uh, crippled teacher who is pushed in the wheelchair, right?
Yes.
And he comes to a almost like a broken building, where he comes and gives
Yeah.
a monologue about uh, uh,
History.
about history and the aspects of, you know, that every individual is just like floating
Existence.
pieces in
Yeah.
the ocean of time and all that, right? So the day of the shooting, we had the person who was playing the role of the teacher. He passed away, unfortunately. He was at that time 90 plus years. Okay,
Oh, wow.
he was a theater person and all. He was a teacher also, retired and all that. So um, we had done a recce a few days before, and we had selected a broken school building, which is no more functional in a village, and we had decided we will do that scene there. So the day, it was around 11 o'clock or 12 o'clock, and we reached that particular spot, which we had identified a month before, and we found, unfortunately, the local administration has pulled down the entire building because they want to reconstruct it.
Oh.
And we had the actor, we had all the props, and everything was ready. So on a normal scenario, one will say that, okay, let's cancel the shoot for the day, we'll take some more time to find out and all that. But again, engineers कुछ ना कुछ जुगाड़ लगाना है.
Jugaad.
So what we did is that we said, okay, let's do one thing. Let's break for lunch for everybody. And me and Amartya took a help from a local person, requested them to give us a motorbike, and then we just, and these are the villages which are like every 2 or 3 kilometers there will be a new
Mm.
village. Okay, very small nearby villages on there. So we went in a motorbike, and we circled around for almost 1.5 hours, and we found a similar kind of a location or a building that we wanted, and we
Mm.
shot there. Post lunch, we shot there. So we didn't cancel the shoot. We didn't make the actor return back saying that, okay, we can't shoot it today and all that. Finished it up because the person had also come prepared, and he or she, whoever would be the person on a given day, will be looking forward to giving a performance as well. So so as an indie approach, I believe indie filmmaking is all about this. So
Yeah.
how flexible you are, how nimble you are to changes, and
Yeah.
whenever there is some kind of an obstruction or obstacle you feel, what is an alternate way of going about it?
Yeah. करना तो है ही, छोड़ना नहीं
करना तो है ही.
है. That's beautiful, and that is so. That scene, when I first saw that scene, I'm like, because the camera is zoomed on the teacher, and he's talking, and when slowly zooms out, I see there's no one in the classroom, and he's just talking to the walls.
Yeah.
And
Empty
I'm like,
space.
empty space, yeah. So, but the person who is driving his wheelchair, uh, he is particular about time, and the person who is reading newspaper there, he's always there. And at the last scene, the time changes, and he's like, time change, time change. So we'll get to, oh, I see the sun and everything. So it's all about a possibility, and yeah, throughout the movie, I loved it.
Yeah, the film starts at the very opening space that it about a Bichitraga, imaginary world. It
Mm,
starts with that
yeah,
voiceover,
yeah,
where they are introducing the different characters, that this is a lazy man who reads newspaper, this is the
yeah,
poet who
yeah,
writes.
yeah.
So there itself, so it is also about, the film is also about, in a certain way, I see that film as a children film. I
Children,
see, yeah, I see in that film a lot of innocence of a child,
innocence.
and
Yeah,
the way towards the end the child comes, and he asks idea, that will you come with me,
yeah.
where do you stay, I stay that way,
Hmm.
where fishes fly and birds swim. So it is all about those possibilities, as you
Yeah,
say, and those imaginations
yeah,
where anything is possible. And for a child, that is what the curiosity and the creativity of a child is unmatched. You can't match that.
yeah,
And somewhere, with the way the adults have made the world, the society around them, they lose this innocence.
yeah, yeah,
So so a child can actually think of putting a ladder and reaching the moon by climbing up the clouds that is there in the sky. So this is the imagination.
yeah,
If today's time, if you talk to somebody, you're just having a very regular discussion over a coffee with somebody, and you
yeah,
suddenly watch the cloud, and you suddenly watch the moon, and if you say to that particular person in front of you, hey, how beautiful it would be if I put up a ladder and I can walk up the clouds and all,
Yeah.
the reaction mostly 9 out of 10 times will be, have you gone mad?
Yeah.
But we don't say to a child. When a
Yeah.
child says so, you will say
No.
that, oh, how imaginative you are. So
Yeah.
somewhere we have killed that innocence within us. So Khyanikaa is all about that imaginary world, about that imagination of a child,
Mm.
about that innocence of a child.
Yeah.
And so that's why, at a certain aspect, if someone asks me, I will classify Khyanikaa as a children film in a way, where it talks
Yeah.
about that purity of the mind.
Yes. Yes. I also loved the way the idea is manipulated. The poet is writing. you
Yeah.
know but the postman, there are always people who are manipulating. There are always people,
Yeah, yeah.
like, until you reach the postman, your idea is pure and innocent and in a very divine place. But the moment you reach, your creativity reaches the mailman, then exploitation starts. Then his idea, he is
There
taking,
is
he's carried. Yeah.
there is certainly. Sorry, you finish first.
Yeah, so I just felt like that innocence travels when it is it stays for yourself.
Yeah.
It is pure and pristine, but when it starts to travel, manifest outside, then
Yes, yes,
yeah. So
yes.
that's what, yeah, I was yeah, yeah,
No, that's a very interesting way of looking at it as well. But at the same point of time, the postman, with his own reasoning, his he says, "Now, how did you like my idea?" To the old man, again played by Bikash ji, when Dipanit's character as the postman says that how did you like my idea? So in a way, his idea is also a very innocent mischief, or you can say it's not a mischief, it's more of a wrongdoing, where he wants to still keep the hope alive for the
yeah, yeah.
poet, right?
Rightly said. Yes,
Yeah.
rightly said.
So so it is also sometimes, how children do certain things because they believe that by doing this small mistake or something wrong, I might be able to do a larger good.
Mm.
With that innocence, they approach something. I mean,
Yeah,
they might not see it as something wrong. They might say
yeah,
that, okay, I did it because I thought that this will help this person.
yeah, yeah,
Many times children say that. So
yeah.
that aspect is also there in that way. I'll say that.
Playing with the idea, playing with the
Yes.
idea. That playful, mischievous playfulness, which the other person, the creator, knows that well, his letter, his letter is reaching somewhere,
Yeah.
but the mailman knows where it is going.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
So yeah, it's all about possibilities, and it's amazing. I don't know. I don't want to put everything in word. I would rather.
Keep the experience to yourself.
Yes, that's right. And I can watch it over and over again because there's always something new that comes up when you watch second time, third time. Like you said,
Yeah.
you keep notes of when you watch movie. Sometimes I also feel like doing that. I do that to know, like, uh, to feed my curiosity, like, and to attend to my curiosity. Like, well, let me first research about this, and then I can get back to the movie or something. So,
Right.
way of learning. Yeah.
So when you say that now you watch it for the second time or third time, and then there will be something different that you may get it. But this is something you will notice if you would have read a poem when someone is at 8-year-old, same poem when you read it at around 16-year-old, same poem when you read it around 26-year-old. So the same poem will be having, just like what I gave the example of sunset. So it's the same thing. So we we will consume it if we let it reach us. We'll consume it with the lens with which we are armed with at that particular point of time, with
Mm.
the mindset that we are in, and that's why uh, these kind of cinema, I believe, will always have a different takeaway every time you will watch it.
Yeah, that's right. Very rightly said. Yeah. I also want to ask you something about your journey as a poet. How did that happen?
No, I mean it's it was sometime back in class class 11, I think 2000,
School.
99. Yeah, school days, 99 2000. No, this didn't start to impress anybody actually. So no, not at all. Thankfully, that is one reason why it is still continuing.
Okay.
um, because I had a connection of expressing through words certain things. So in school, when we were when so I studied in St. Paul's School, or Rourkela, and after 10th, anybody who is from St. Paul's will know that. So after 10th, when we continued our 11 and 12 in same school only, and we had a set of 5 teachers of 5 different subjects, and they were a terror in their own way.
Okay.
Okay, so from all the different physics, maths, chemistry, English, and whatever we had. I'm not using the word terror always in the negative way. I mean, uh, to actually grasp. Uh, in fact, I still remember. Uh, it was a convent school, so our English teacher was a father, and he was speaking in an accent. He was a Swiss, if I remember correctly. Or from a Swiss descent. I mean, maybe his family tree is from Swiss or something. His accent was absolutely alien to all of us, and he was teaching us Great Expectations, Charles Dickens,
Wow.
and it took almost like 3 to 4 months to get used to his accent.
Accent.
He was teaching brilliantly, no doubt about it, but it, again, it has to be understood first of all.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was so difficult to catch his accent. So similarly, we had different experiences of different teachers who were there, and they all had their unique style. We have been hearing it from our seniors and everybody that when you go to 11th class, 11 and 12, that's the real world, boss. Just 1 to 10 is nothing in front of them,
Wow.
and everybody was really, having a different kind of a persona, um, towering personalities, even if they were uh, of really of above 50 or 60. I mean, they had certain aura around them, the way they used to carry themselves and all. So all those things, there were classes where we used to get trauma. There were classes where we used to get shock. There were classes, so our subjects. I mean to say that there were certain subjects which used to actually make you happy. So all this experience was there. So our school was coming up with a magazine for the first time. St. Paul School was coming, and one of my primary school teachers there was the school. I mean the magazine editor. So she had asked for submissions to the entire school. I had requested her. I have written something, but please, I want to put it as anonymous. And it was about this experience of these 5 subjects, the corresponding teachers and all, and it was having something very very elementary way of writing, but it was something like um, uh, in the physics period everybody wants to attain um, uh, escape velocity, but the teacher pulls us with force of gravity, so stuff like that. Okay, so 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 it was just like a pun, a meme, or a commentary kind of a thing that I had written, and the name of the poem was an ode to class 11.
Wow.
So so my principal was furious with the teacher, saying that who submitted this? I can't let it pass, and this magazine will go to so many different places. What will they think about our school and all that stuff? I want to meet this guy who wrote this and all. My teacher didn't say it, but yeah. So this was it. So that was my first brush with you can say like poetry and expressing it through words, and it went on. And then again in my engineering college. I met, I mean, one of our teachers was really wonderful, English teacher there as well. She was teaching phonetics and all. She started a magazine there, literature magazine. And I started contributing. And then after a certain year or so, she asked me to be on the editorial board of the magazine.
Wow.
So all the 3 years or 4 years, 3 years, I think the remaining 3 years, I was in the editorial board of that magazine and all that. So So that's how, and I started, I mean, I loved reading. I started exploring my college libraries with a lot of different books, kinds of books. So that's how, I mean, that poetry thing continued. Again, there was a there was a change that happened after, of course, meeting, or getting exposed to cinema, meeting Amartya, reading more and more different kinds of poems and all. Then I realized that poetry is not about rhyming words. Poetry is not at all about always having a very emotional or softer side of it. uh, Poetry also has to have somewhere reflect the realities of your times. If you can uh, dive deep inside your own psyche, your own, and convey sometimes your own philosophies of your own understanding of the world. I mean, there's so many ways, there's so many perceptions that we go through, and if the poems can convey some of those, uh, and there is no harm in actually having love poems as well. I
Yeah.
mean, Rumi is one of the greatest love poets. But look at the depth. Look at the layers he tries to portray or paint through the words. Okay, but if I just say, "Oh, you had blue eyes," it feels like I am on some ice. I mean, this doesn't gel well. I mean, this is just like, you're trying to just fit in certain words
Yeah.
and try to call it out as poetry. So this was also certain things that I uh, got exposed to, and I realized. Uh, in fact, I don't see myself as somebody who has done really good in any kind of in poetry and all that. It's just that I have I can only say that I have tried to improve myself over the years, and I like writing. So I hopefully someday I write it up to a level where it can be worthy of publishing or something. That will be one of the uh, really something that I will be, another aspect that I'll be proud about myself if I can do that someday.
But you already did it in school. It's published already.
Yeah, of course, of course, of course.
But now the perspective has changed, and now the relation to poetry has changed. So,
Yes,
would you,
true.
yeah,
Always see it that I never used to watch classical dance forms. I never used to enjoy it. And then if I correlate, I never used to have even the current perspective about cinema as well. So things are so related. Even I would not have gone to a museum or a modern art painting show some 15 years back. But today, yes, even many times I go and watch some really fine theaters that plays in Ravindra Mandap here.
yeah,
I sometimes go and watch some classical Odissi, beat Odissi music, or the dance forms and all that. So this is also somewhere I feel a filmmaker, just like a scientist. Also, I've seen that they are good readers of cinema. Scientists who are actually a lot invested in science, they are good readers of cinema. I have seen when Capital I, we had a very limited, I think, a two screening or three screenings in the theaters, a very limited screening only in Bhubaneswar. The Kit School of Sculpture is there, and at that time, Mr. Advaita Gadanaik, who was heading the School of Sculpture, he's right now the director of National Gallery of Modern Art in New Delhi.
wow,
So he had come to watch the film, and he hugged Amartya, and he said it's a fantastic film and he loved it. So his life is all about sculpting and painting and all that. And he immediately connected. He said the film is brilliant in so many ways. So I believe is that all art forms are so well connected.
connected.
If a person is invested in one art form, the other forms will always appeal. Um, Science is also an art form. If you remember in Capital I, there was this dialogue where the female protagonist comes and meets Sushant sir. I
Yes,
mean the professor role that Sushant
yeah,
Mishra was playing, and she asked that you are a man of science, you are a physics professor, and I see a lot of books about films and poetry.
yeah,
Why is it so? And the dialogue written by Amartya goes something like this: that art and science are born from the same womb called perception. So if you add logic to perception, it becomes science. If
Yeah.
you add imagination to your perception, it becomes art.
Not
So the source is same, the
same.
origin is same. So every art form begins from perception. So if you want to express yourself in terms of notes, rhythm, it becomes music.
Music.
If you want
Yes.
to express it in terms of colors and uh, some patterns, then it becomes your painting or art or something like that,
Yeah.
right? If you want to create something with certain materials, it becomes your sculpture. So all of these things are all related where it comes from your perception and what you want to express, how you want to express. These are all different mediums, but it is all begins from your perception about certain thing.
Yeah.
So something happens and it moves artists different deeply in many different ways. So right now there is somewhere a war going and probably there are a lot of children are getting killed.
Yes.
Not going into the politics of it, if you are affected by that particular aspect of so many children getting killed or children who have not seen anything about this world or had nothing to do with this entire thing that is happening all around them. So a poet will write a poem, a painter will paint it in a different color. Maybe he will use a lot of red to express that particular pain. A sculptor will actually convey it in a different way, and so does a filmmaker will do. So this is all about how a certain aspects are perceived
Yeah.
and what you do with that perception.
Yes. Yes. Beautiful. ତାହେଲେ ଆମେ କଣ ଆଜି ଗୋଟେ କବିତା କିଛି ଶୁଣିବା? Do you recite first of
I
all?
do recite. I do recite.
So I would like
Let
to
me.
hear.
I can. Let. So I hope if I move from the screen, the camera
Yes.
is still on.
Uh, you can try once and then no, we can't see you. You cannot move from the screen. Not a choice.
Okay, that's right.
You have to look for other possibilities.
Yes, I have. I have an alternate way.
Okay. By
So
the way, I have to say that he's when we started when we started to go live, he was not able to speak, so he said that my throat is not okay. But I think he carried it really well. I have been drinking tea, but he has not even taken a sip of water. So I am sorry about the pain.
no, you don't
But,
have to. As I said, I enjoy to be in front of the camera. So as long as the camera is on, I'm all good.
okay.
So I'll start feeling all the pain and everything once I go out of this live session.
Okay. So this is an escape for you.
Yes, yes, yes. Cinema, poetry, movies, these are all different kinds of escapes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, let me read a poem. I don't know how it will sound like, but still. There is a stranger in the next room with strange looks, behavior, and moods. His face changes shape all the time as if it is built on some cheap AI. His thoughts travel faster than light, riding on the waves of the mighty sea to the bottom of a volcanic pit. He sees images at 60 frames per second but hears no sound. Remember, I said he was a stranger, stranger than the word strange can suggest. He lived with me until a few months ago, perhaps within me all these years. He was free, carried no baggage, and floated in spaces easily. One night he came, all of a sudden overweight. He couldn't move a bit, as if chained to a mountain. He just remained still. With nowhere to go, nothing to see, and no one to meet, he started feeding on his own mind, quite contrary to what he was. Unable to bear this duality, I threw him out of me, from within me. I now look at him from far, with hollow eyes, as he writes this poem about me under a warm light.
Wow. Was this not very technical?
Ah, it may be, yeah.
But nice, nice.
Thank you.
The throwing myself out of me.
Yeah.
Wow. So it's a like a new birth, new perspective.
There are certain aspects to it. One was it's about the, we at times get into a lot of situations. There's a lot of conflict within ourselves. There's a lot of dilemma within us, and uh, there are certain philosophies you may want to believe in, or there are certain principles that you may want to live by, but you won't be able to always execute it in the way that you want to. So there are certain dilemmas that you may face, whether you should do what you're doing or you should take a certain other route. I mean, if it is a dilemma of what doing next, if it is a dilemma of being in certain relationships, it can be a dilemma of believing in something. Okay, so there are a lot of aspects to it, and it is about uh, if you are unable to connect with your inner soul. I mean, what you physically, or in the present world, or in the uh, in this materialistic context, what you want and what your soul wants, if it is not something aligned, so you go through a lot of conflicts
Conflict.
most of the time.
Inner civil war.
Yeah, that kind of that.
Yeah, beautiful. So this poem was written in the present, for the present moment, or like no? When did you write this one? Sorry for my curiosity.
uh yes, probably a few months back, couple of months back, maybe. I do keep a note of the date when I write.
Oh wow,
So this was written July, month of July this year,
wow, wow,
13th July.
wow. Thank you for reciting. And yeah, I have one last question
Sure.
uh, about coming back to our home, to our state. Like, what would you say? Like, what would you expect, or what would you need? Uh, Couple of things that you want to say about Odia cinema, or cinema as a medium, as a way of conveying, or I don't know how to say that.
So, I mean, recently only there was a lot of discussion that was going on in this local circle about the future and what can be done and all that stuff. So, see, basically, first thing is, if I'm listening to something, uh, or watching something, consuming anything, in Odia, I mean, made by an Odia person or in Odia, whatever it is, you can say it, a content or an output or a creation made from here. Okay. First of all, I should not always take it saying that, अच्छा ओडिया रे तो बढ़िया मत बढ़िया कहिबार अछि बा मत बढ़िया ही हेतिबो. No, it's not like that. Second thing is that anybody who has to be put in the pedestal of an icon, a role model, one has to look at the pedigree of that person, what they have done, what has been their body of work. It's just not that for any simple or minor things that one can easily be given that huge tag of being the icon or anything like that. One has to really uh, do and fight for to achieve or to arrive at that particular position, right? So uh, you take any youth icon, you take anybody, say for example, from any other national level or any other state. I mean, they don't reach that pedestal uh, very easily. They really did something of significance, something of concrete. So same way, if we are talking about anybody uh, in the light of considering them as an icon or something, let's see what their contemporary in that particular era, in that particular time, in that particular uh, uh, situation has done in different parts of this country, in this different parts of this world, and then compare their work. Just don't always. We have this tendency of uh, uh, making people as a demigod or always trying to put people on a certain pedestal. So that is one aspect where I want people to first actually learn more about their body of work, learn more about others' body of work, and then make an informed judgment. This is completely one side. The other side is if you when our film was uh, capital A was in Bangalore sometime in 2015. So we were talking to people, filmmakers there in the film festivals, and we were interacting and all. And there I got to know in 2014-15 that Karnataka government has a scheme where if you make a film in Kannada language, okay, they will give you X lakhs rupees, some amount of like 5 lakhs or
Subsidy.
something like that. It's not, uh, it's a subsidy, yeah. So if you just make a film in Kannada, you will get 5 lakhs. If a film wins a national award, they are going to give the film 10 lakhs.
Wow.
So if the film is, they've listed a specific set of film festivals, 16, 17 film festivals they had listed. If your film goes to any of these film festivals, they are going to give you another 2 lakhs, 3 lakhs like that. So now consider how encouraging it is for a
Yes.
filmmaker to actually go ahead and make a film that the way they want to. They don't have to succumb to any other pressure or influences,
Yeah.
right? Maharashtra government came up with a scheme saying that they probably made a committee who will grade films, Marathi films, in A, B, C or certain category. A category films will get close to 30 or 40. B will be getting around 25 something. C, one that has been graded as C that will be getting around 15 or 20 lakhs based on the quality. I mean, it is all subjective whenever a committee is there, but at least there's something in place. And think about the amount of courage this gives to a filmmaker.
Yeah.
If my film gets in any of this category, at least I'll get 15 lakhs or 20 lakhs, whatever money I might have spent, I
Yeah.
may recover 15 or 20 lakhs directly. Then there are a lot of other similar kind of things that filmmakers, film festivals have done. State governments have done. Coming to film festival, IFFI, the central government's film festival, International Film Festival of India, that was uh, that has been running in Goa. That happens in Goa every year. So Goa government has been the de facto hospital partner, right? Hospitality partner,
Mm.
sorry, and they have been providing all sorts of support and everything so that the film festival can happen every year with a lot of foreign delegates who come each year. So Goa government made this rightful lobby with the IFFI Festival Committee, saying that for so many years you have been organizing this festival in Goa, we have been supporting this. You ought to have a specific section in your festival for Goan language films.
Wow.
So, so they lobbied for it, and rightfully. There's
Yes.
no wrong in that.
Yes.
Okay. Even BIF's Bangalore International Film Festival, they have a Kannada section. IFFK Film Festival has a Malayalam film section where they only showcase Malayalam films.
Yeah.
There's an international competition. There can be other sections,
Yeah.
and then there is a Malayalam section where it is only for Malayalam films. Good
Yes.
Malayalam films they will show in as part of that section. So in Odisha, there are film festivals as such. Not many film festivals that happen, and whatever happens, they don't have a ODS section. Okay. Again, this is a still a minor part of it. What actually is troubling is that there are three or four key aspects. One, first of all, the government, the policies that they make. So we don't have a film policy here yet. Even all these 30 years, 40 years of making all this noise, people have been making noise. There is no film policy here. There is no subsidy concept here. There was a concept called loan. Who will want to take a risk of taking a loan and making a film when there is so many other variables that are happening all around? So there's no subsidy thing here. They had made a draft policy a few years back, which when I looked, I said, "Boss, this cannot be a film policy because the film policy had clauses which can only support filmmakers who have made films of around 3 or 4 crore budget films." I don't know what they will do with a subsidy because
Yeah.
they put a clause like that. So why would they need subsidy?
True.
Right? So nothing in that sort that happens, or that is actively being discussed right now. Second thing is that there are a lot of states, West Bengal or perhaps some of the South Indian states as well, where they have mandated the film theaters to screen the local language films as a mandate. Probably every day one show they must give it to a local language film. So that automatically
Mm.
gives
Sets a
a support
standard,
to
I
the
think.
producer itself and the distributors that okay, there is a
Section.
space, you have a
Space.
space where you can show the film. This is the film policy part. Second, you have the filmmakers. So again, as I said, filmmakers also need to have exposure to a lot of other art forms.
Yeah.
They need to be more invested also.
Yeah.
So it is as filmmakers, as I said, as a producer, it is I see it as a responsibility. So what kind of film I'll make?
Yeah.
Whether it will be a shortcut way of making a film, just take a super hit Hindi or a Tamil film, make a cheap copy of it and then just flush it into the market.
Yeah.
Or I want to really make something that has more value attached to it. So that is one another pillar. So
Yeah.
government policies, filmmakers. Then comes the distributors and exhibitors. So you make a lot of money with distributing or exhibiting so many films, Hindi films or any other kind of films you showcase here. You make money out of it. Just like every other industry who operates in a place and they have the CSR, corporate social responsibility.
Yeah.
Why can't you take it as your responsibility that you will reserve a space or in a particular day, maybe a morning show,
Yeah.
and you say that hey, even if no one comes, I will show a good Odia film.
Yeah.
Do it. It may take some time, but there will be
Yeah.
people who will turn out.
At least things have to start.
There's something to start with. The fourth aspect is about the media. We don't have film journalism. I can tell it on the record, off the record. We don't have film journalism. There is no one who writes about cinema, dissecting cinemas, talking about cinemas, talking about world cinema, talking about other regional language films, and then comparing uh, or dissecting an Odia film and identifying how this film connects to so and so the event that happened in history. What is the background of this particular aspect of that was there in this particular film, or it is just mostly about reporting that happens, but we don't have journalism. Yes, the film the media fraternity has been as an indie filmmaker and all, they have been kind enough to actually talk about the film's journey at places and all. But I really want, even it's just not about our film or anyone's film, a regular conversation that should
Yeah.
happen through the print and the digital and the TV media about cinema culture.
Yeah.
And culture is not about uh, who has gone to whose party.
Yeah.
Culture is not about who is wearing what kind of a dress or who is in certain kind of a diet. This is something was there in Khyanikaa. Did you read the newspaper?
Yes.
It talked about my diet.
Yeah.
That is not about the culture part of it.
Yeah.
So I recall an interview of Nawazuddin Siddiqui, and he was asked, why don't you attend the film parties? We don't see you in the parties and all. He said that in Hindi, he said, replied, हम लोग कौन है? कलाकार हैं.
Mm.
हम लोग कभी भी कला का बात करते हैं.
Mm.
If we are not talking about art, how are we kalakars? So what happens in these parties? No one talks about art or no one talks about anything.
Yeah.
So why should I be there in those parties? So
Yeah.
that was a perspective of Nawazuddin Siddiqui. But this is something that strongly the media has to. Uh, I mean, in Bengali media, I've seen journalists without any fear, without anything, they will butcher a film if they don't like it. They may be right, they may be wrong. That's a different thing. They will butcher a film. They invite filmmakers to review another filmmaker's film,
Which
and they
is
do
really
it.
nice. Yeah.
they do it, and it's a very healthy way of
Yeah,
having conversations. So
absolutely.
somebody can criticize it, and the other filmmaker then responds back in media, and they
Mm.
take it very positively also.
Yeah, yeah,
So many things can happen. So many aspects can be changed, which, and this helps ultimately the public to be more informed, to
mm.
to be more aware, to make
Aware.
informed judgments, right?
Yeah,
So, government policies, filmmakers, distributor, exhibitors,
media.
your media. The fifth is the people themselves.
Mm.
So, if we can go and do a 1 month of research before buying a car, if we can do a 15 days or at least a 10-day of research before buying the next phone, if we can do a lot of uh, going through different shops and finding out the best outfit that will match for your party that is coming up. So why can't you invest and do a lot more research of what you want to consume?
Yeah,
Because everything cannot come through a push notification. We have been so tuned that if something is not in my push notification, it doesn't exist. A friend debated with me, saying that when I was having my own reservations about a certain year, about a certain Bollywood superstar getting a national award, I said that these national awards are getting so diluted, and the jury who is giving the national award, he's defending, saying that this particular actor got this national award as the best actor because of this film. I said you are not doing an appraisal discussion here. It's not an organization, and you are not doing an appraisal that his performance over the years has been like this. You are giving a best actor. It has to be for one single film,
yeah,
and if in that film that person has actually done the best work, it is not like okay, 2 3 films he has done, given a hit and all that. This is not how national awards, or this is not how a jury should be looking at it. So
yeah.
things are diluted. So then he argued, then who do you think should have got it? Because I said that I gave few names, and I said there are so many regional films are there who where the performance have been outstanding. The response was, but I have never heard about it. I
Yeah,
said, but that doesn't mean that they don't exist. That doesn't mean that the performance was never given, right?
that's true.
So if we are not ourselves curious and uh, inquisitive, trying to explore and know more about it, so it is our loss. I mean, as an audience, it will be my loss. It is not the maker's loss. It is not the creator's loss. If I don't know about a certain filmmaker, a wonderful filmmaker, or a great film, it is certainly my loss. It is not the filmmaker's loss.
That's true.
So that aspect. So most of the time we come with a lot of uh, air that we will not take this kind of a cinema, will not consume that kind of cinema. I'll say be open, accept cinema, explore cinema, just like how you want to explore before buying a laptop, before buying a car. Explore, try to find out what is there, and then go for the best one. So that is what attach value to the time that you will be spending consuming a cinema or a art form, any art form.
Yeah, beautiful.
So yeah, so those are the different aspects where probably there is a lot of work has to be done if I compare it with other states of
Yeah,
India. But certainly there are certain things that is happening. There are good films that is coming out of Odisha, and I'm hopeful that if the momentum continues, if there are more fresh people, fresh thoughts, fresh ideas keep coming in, then today or tomorrow the other aspects might fall into place. But yes, if we have to make some immediate change, then of course the people in authority has to first make those change. So
yeah,
the government is in the authority, exhibitors, distributors are in authority, the audience is an authority, the media is an authority. So as a filmmaker, people can still start making or try to make good films or make create more good content. But the if but there are a lot of challenges they will have to overcome. If it has to happen in a structured way, then yes, the other four pillars have to come forward and make those structural changes. Marathi cinema 20 years back was something else. 20 years later, Marathi cinema is competing everywhere.
mm,
In Moscow, there was this interview of the festival director was doing this interview of Amartya when our film Runanubandha was there in Moscow. It was the international premiere at that festival that happened. In that interview, by the time we had started the shooting of Adieu Godard, and the festival director of then festival director of Moscow International Film Festival asked this question: "What is your next film?" So Amita replied that we are making our next film is an Odia film called Adieu Godard. So then he said that Odia film, what language is that? It's an Indian language. Then he said that a Russian. He's a Russian. He says that I have heard Bengali as a language. I've heard Malayalam as a language. I've heard Marathi as a language, and a couple of more names. He said I never heard that Odia is also a language. Then Amartya clarified. This is the one of the six classical languages of India. So somewhere this is also
Information.
one of the responsibility that I see, that uh, if Odisha culture is great, we say, if Odisha is such a wonderful place and all this, we may say all of these things, but it will be only wonderful when this is getting transcended. It travels. This thing reaches out to the people, and it will only reach when the work is that good. So cinema is one of the greatest brand ambassador of any region. I may not have visited Italy, but I have certain perception about Italy from the films that I have seen that has Italy in it.
True.
So I may not have visited Gujarat, but I have certain perceptions about the people of Gujarat. So similarly, Odisha, Odia language, this perception will come when our films will also travel
Yeah.
across the globe. Okay,
Yes.
so tomorrow, some Croatia or somewhere in Poland, somebody will come and say that, oh, Odia film, I love it.
Yes.
So it is just not that we have to always live with nostalgia. Oh, our films of the past were great, this, that, and all. Look forward to what is happening around the world. We are all equipped to compete with it. Yes, there are challenges out there. We have to overcome it. But the objectives or the larger goal should be somewhere like that, where we have to make cinemas which will travel beyond the borders.
Wow. Beautiful. The journey has started already.
Yeah.
I think it is more now more into access is more easy to international festivals and world at large, but we still need to work on our own uh, audience, own language, own state,
Yeah.
so that we can work in a more responsible way to represent at least our language and culture and whatever everything that we have.
Right. Right. Yep.
So, yeah, it was very nice talking to you, and it was very informative for me.
Thank you. And of course, I mean, you were curious and you wanted to ask questions. So that's why, bro, the conversation went in those directions only.
Yeah, no, I mean, it was vast for me. I didn't know from where to start and where to end. So,
Uh, I'll say it went well. It went well.
thank you so much,
My pleasure. Thank you. Thank
and
you for having me.
oh, thank you so much, and hope you feel better, and hope we'll see you soon again.
Sure, sure. Anytime to talk about cinema.
Yeah. So, would you like to say something about your upcoming projects?
Yeah, there are. So, Whispers of a Storm probably will be traveling to a couple of more festivals. We are trying to see if the film can reach the audience also through some medium. I'm trying to explore. After Whispers of a Storm, there are two films, both kind of like under post production and all. So one film is in the advanced stage. It's a Bengali film. So so hopefully the film actually uh, uh, reaches to travels first. We really want the film travels well to different festivals and all. It's a Bengali film, and it's the uniqueness of that film is that uh, the film is based on an album of 7 songs. We have films, that has songs. This is a this is an uh, There's an album of 7 songs, and the film was derived from those songs.
Wow. Who's
Okay,
the
so
writer?
all the 7 songs are part of the film, no doubt about it. but the philosophy of those songs became the crux of this film, and it actually, the film is an outcome of this, of these seven songs basically.
And who's the writer?
So Amartya. So
We have to meet him someday, all of you together.
definitely, definitely, he's one person I can do anything to listen to. When he speaks so well. Uh,
Wow.
yeah, and so that's one film, and there is uh, one more. So this is a Bengali film. This will be our second Bengali film, and then there is one more Odia film, which is also again, the shoot has completed this year. We are trying to close the post production part of it, and let's see what happens with that as well later on.
Are you going to release that in 2024 sometime? Both the films?
I would like to. I would like to. I would like to see like how the film goes, how it is being received, and perhaps next year definitely would want to have this film for the audience.
Wow.
We do want to. We do want all our films to come to the audience.
Yeah.
It's just that there are certain aspects that has to be worked out.
Yeah.
So if it falls into the place, then why not?
Yeah, I'm really eager to talk to both of you, you and your writer. And now that I heard that it's a Bengali film, I would really like to have you both for that film whenever you guys are releasing, or whenever you can think it's ready or whatever. It will be a learning experience for me as well.
Right. Sure.
Okay, thank you very much. You take care. Feel better soon.
Sure. Thank you. I'll go and take some warm water now.
Now your escape is done. You're done with your escape.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you. Bye.
Thanks a lot. Yeah.
Thank
Bye.
you. Bye.
Bye.